Hey there, I'm Gwen Elliott and welcome to Start Something Big. So a lot of people want to change the world, but Rob Stewart actually did it. He inspired Torontonians to rewrite the laws and ban shark finning in the city. Rob is an award-winning documentary filmmaker, and he spent 5 years and his life savings on his first film, Shark Water. He started it when he was 22 years old, and it was just an innocent nature film, but it turned into something completely different.
I think we've got an opportunity with new media, with the internet, with Facebook, with everything coming together right now to tackle the biggest issue humanity's ever had. I mean, if you look at the numbers, this century humanity is in trouble. I mean, we're going to have no fish, no reefs, no rainforests, and 9 billion people in 2050 on a planet that can't sustain the 7 billion people it's got right now. So we've got to change. We've got to change fast. But I think within that potential catastrophe is a massive opportunity to bring people together, to make people heroes, to fight for something, to fight for life, and to fight for a better future. And that's what we're trying to do. And if we can get people on board by making documentaries and making media and educational tools and have a great deal of fun doing it, then it's a best case scenario.
Shark Water is a film about man's relationship with sharks, dispelling the myths of sharks as, menacing predators of people, and showing you that the reality is they're incredibly beautiful animals that are vital and incredibly important to life on Earth. Shark Water follows a journey as I traveled through 15 countries trying to figure out what was going on with sharks and why sharks were being wiped out.
He is the real deal, right? I mean, you see people and then you meet them and you think, wow, that isn't what I expected. But with Rob, that is who he is. I mean, he absolutely cares so deeply about all of this. And I think he's super energizing too, right? I mean, you're around him and you realize, oh my gosh, I can do this. He does that for so many people.
And that's what we tried to do. We tried to show a different relationship with sharks. It's not a normal film. It goes against most of the shark movies I've ever seen.
50 years from now, this film will be looked on as a legacy that one man made for a species that he loved. And if all of us were to take that kind of approach, we could change the world.
I think that the public is going to really love the movie because it gives them a new perspective on things. It gives them the reality that they haven't heard before, and they get to see things in a relationship with sharks that's never been seen before. And I think they're really going to like that.
I was living the American dream, and I always adored the water, always adored sharks. I'd been a diver for 15 years and pretty much watched sharks disappear. But it wasn't until I met Rob and saw Shark Water that I thought, that's it. I actually have to stop, change my life completely, and get out there and do something. So, Shark Water gave me that power, and within 2 weeks of seeing Shark Water, I'd sold my house, my business, my car, I'd moved to South Africa, and boom, I'm a shark conservationist.
Shark Savers is an organization that focuses a lot on working with cultures to reduce demand and also establish shark sanctuaries around the world.
I was a wildlife photographer, and I thought I had the favorite job in the world, and ended up taking a photo assignment to the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's one of the 7 underwater wonders of the world, and here hammerhead sharks, my favorite species in the world, congregate in schools. So I was so excited to go there, but when we arrived, instead of finding sharks in all their majesty underwater, I found a fishing line that would stretch from Earth to outer space with like 16,000 baited hooks on it. And quickly found out that not only are sharks being wiped out in the most protected places on the planet, they're being wiped out everywhere. And shark populations have dropped 90% in 30 years, largely for shark fin soup. And I sort of thought that this was such a crazy thing to be happening on the world. Like, how could there be such a wanton disregard for life? Like, how could we be destroying one of the oldest, longest lasting, most important predators the planet has for the sake of a soup, for shark fin soup, an Asian delicacy? So I figured if I could educate the public and just tell them what was going on, that they'd fight for sharks protection and this issue could be closed. So I tried to get the word out using magazine articles and newspapers, and it didn't work. I couldn't hit as many people, I couldn't hit them emotionally, I couldn't make them see sharks through my eyes. So I tried to make a movie, knowing nothing about movies, nothing about filmmaking, I set out when I was 22. My girlfriend at the time bought me 2 books on how to make movies, and I was reading the manuals and reading the books on the plane on the way there, and just sort of winged it and tried to make a pretty shark movie. And as you see, if you've seen the movie, like everything went catastrophically wrong, and we ended up with a crazy story instead of just a shark film. To get to the most shark-rich waters in the world, to get to Cocos Island, Costa Rica, and the Galapagos, Ecuador, I needed a boat. And the boat that could get me there the cheapest was Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. And if you know anything about Sea Shepherd, like, they're pretty radical. You know, they'd sunk in a Norwegian whaling fleet, they, ran pirate fishing boats all the time. So I jumped on board with them, with my little makeshift crew.
During the making of the movie, we got arrested, we got charged with attempted murder, we got rammed by fishing boats. We ended up running from Costa Rica while they were firing machine guns at us. And because of all of this drama, we ended up having to turn the cameras on ourselves in case we ended up stuck in a prison for the rest of our lives. We had a record of what would happen to us. It was a huge leap of faith. I had no idea it would take 4.5 years and nearly kill me. So Sharkwater turned into a human drama with a shark documentary interwoven into it.
I was 22. This is my one shot at trying to do something big and trying to change the world in a profound way. And if I failed at that, that would have, put my life in a very different direction. And so I knew, like, I had to succeed, I had to do this. We had, this was how we were going to change the world and how I could sort of make a stamp on it and put my life in that direction. And so it was never really an option. I just had to, okay, dust yourself off, go again, get a helmet, keep going. At one point, I got dengue fever, West Nile virus, and tuberculosis all at the same time. Was $200,000 in debt, never made a movie, had to try pitching this movie, got turned down by everybody.
Predator of the sea, terror of all men who enter the ocean. The very symbol of lurking danger, that is the shark.
So, it was 100% the hardest thing I've ever done.
So why sharks?
Sharks are the coolest, most badass animals we've got on the planet. Right? They've got 2 more senses than humans. They've been here for 400-something million years. I mean, they've lasted longer than the dinosaurs. They predate the dinosaurs by 150 million years and have survived 5 major extinctions. So sharks are awesome in every way, and just absolutely loved sharks. But I was afraid of them. And when I was 9, I met my first shark. And the whole experience lasted like 5 or 10 seconds. I was swimming underwater, holding onto a rock. I saw a shark. The shark saw me, and it swam away in fear. And in like 5 seconds, the whole fear I had of sharks was pulled away. And I realized, if a shark is afraid of a 9-year-old kid, then I don't have to be afraid of sharks anymore, and I can go explore. And then, yeah, sharks from then on. By the time we were done making and releasing Sharkwater, it became glaringly evident to us that it's not sharks we're losing. It's not hugging trees and saving pandas anymore. That conservation is now saving humans, right? So by the middle of this century, some of the stats, we'll be out of all the world's coral reefs will be dead due to ocean acidification. We'll be out of fish. We'll be out of rainforest, and we'll have 9 billion people on this planet. So we're in a really serious situation where the next 10 or 15 years are going to determine what the future is going to look like for humanity. Are we going to be living in harmony? Are we going to find balance? Or are we going to be in a world full of, death and destruction and starvation and lack and crisis? We thought that if we brought these facts to the public in a movie, in the similar way we did with Sharkwater, that it could really change things and get people to take a fight into their own backyards, sort of thing. So we came up with the concept of making a movie, and it's called Revolution. And it's sort of a how-to guide to start a revolution. It's the evolution of life on Earth and the revolution to save it. And it's sort of trying to show people, what's going to have to change for us to survive the next 100 years. But takes you on an adventure like Sharkwater does, where you follow me around the world getting into a lot of trouble, trying to figure out what's going on and tackle, the biggest issue of our time. Our strategy for it, to get the biggest release and make sure the public sees it in a massive way, is to come out at the Cannes Film Festival in May, and then the Toronto Film Festival in September, hopefully if we get into these 2, and then hit theaters right after. So you'll be able to see Revolution in theaters in September or October 2012. We thought that if we could just educate the public that humanity was good enough, that they'd go out and do something about it. And now that there's these fin-free movements happening all over the world, it's sort of proof of concept. Humanity's good. We just need to know what's going on, and we'll do something about it. So it's just the craziest ride possible, but the most beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for every part of it.
How can people get involved and really help you with your cause?
People can help by getting involved with our NGO, United Conservationists, at unitedconservationist.org. We're a small NGO right now. We're going to change the world in huge ways, and we've got a lot ahead of us. But we need help, we need support, we need money. So, get involved.
It's really easy to get involved with United Conservationists. You can come online, you can join us, and all we do is empower local movements. So whether you care about planting trees in your community or you care about saving sharks, we're there to give you the tools and be your allies through it.
When ivory was banned to save elephants, it was banned because you couldn't tell what ivory was from a poached elephant and what wasn't.
I think what United Conservationists does is try and make conservation approachable to anyone and empower these grassroots movements. We have no sense of ownership over anything. Fin-free is basically been created in an open source model to take and spread virally throughout the world.
And what is fin-free exactly?
Fin-free is about making the world shark fin-free. So instead of the problem that we currently are experiencing where over 100 million sharks are killed a year, what we want to do is attack that from a demand perspective and give people the tools and empower them locally to stop this problem.
During the past 5 years, I've been around the world to determine why sharks are disappearing. I found myself in the middle of the shark fin trade.
I think one of the best ways people can change the world is by taking what they're most passionate about with what they're best at and smashing them together. Whatever people love, it is in jeopardy. It's being destroyed and packaged and turned into garbage as fast as corporations can do it. So go to bat for something you love, and I think the world will align behind you to make your life a lot more beautiful than it was before.
We've only been here for a few million years, and in the last 100 years, we've greatly impacted life in the ocean. But we also have the power to change it for the better.
You study innovation and you study these epic time periods where great companies are launched. It tends to be something related to chaos.
Jeremy Gucce is an expert in exploiting chaos and embracing change. Most of us, we hate chaos. We hate it. But Jeremy, he thrives on it. He is the founder of TrendHunter.com, the world's largest site dedicated to innovation and trend spotting. It all began in 2006. He quit his cushy job at a credit card company to start this website dedicated to being on the cutting edge of what's cool. And since then, it has grown exponentially. He has over 50,000 members globally, over 1.5 million likes on Facebook, and almost 1 billion hits on the website. Yes, I said 1 billion. But he had to start somewhere, and here's how he got his start.
Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
He comes in the room and he says like, "Hey team, how's it going?" He's big, he's loud, and he's really inspirational for the team. I've never met anybody that's inspired me as much as Jeremy has.
Trend Hunter.
Trend Hunter.
Trend Hunter.
TrendHunter.com.
TrendHunter.com.
Tell us about the process of how you started TrendHunter.com.
For me, I always sort of defined myself as an entrepreneur at heart, but like so many entrepreneurs at heart, I didn't really know what my business idea was going to be. And yet every job I took then, I thought would lead me to inspiration. So I became a consultant thinking I'd look at different companies, but I still never got that idea. And I started running innovation in a business line at Capital One, thinking other people's money would teach me what I wanted. But when I still hadn't figured it out, I actually started Trend Hunter as a community where people from around the world could come to share their business ideas. And then I hoped along the way that I would find mine. But as Trend Hunter took off, I never really had to pick. And so now I get to spend my whole time just looking at all these great things that are new and innovative. You study innovation and you study these epic time periods where great companies are launched. It tends to be something related to chaos. And if you look back in history, you'll see that companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, Fortune magazine, General Electric, Hewlett-Packard were all founded during time periods of global economic recession. And it turns out that it's these periods of change that are fascinating and opportunistic, because even when you have a downturn, people still buy things, but what they buy becomes a bit different. They start looking for other ways to have their wonderful life, but maybe not spend the same amount, and that kind of change creates entrepreneurial opportunity. And that's one example, but in hundreds of different ways, chaos is really what creates opportunity and change. In some ways, Trend Hunter is chaos in that we're trying to say, look at all of the noise and the inspiration that's out there in the world, and is there a way to filter it down or really try and identify the patterns within the chaos that are the emerging opportunities? So I think that chaos is a central theme in a lot of what we're trying to pursue and understand. The difficult thing for many professionals is that they want to be an entrepreneur, but they think of it as a decision where you must quit your job and go all in. And I took the approach that, hey, if I really want to do this, then I should be able to figure it out on my free time. So I would just really work to try and each day find a new part about the site that I could grow a little bit bigger and do a lot of experimentation. So one day I would try this approach to getting new articles. Another day I would try this approach to marketing. And over time, through hundreds of little experiments, I started getting a group of people around the world that would contribute articles and send me ideas every day. And by constantly just trying to think about how to make this more useful for entrepreneurs and idea seekers, I was able to catch on to some pretty cool trends myself. It used to be that trend spotting was about a guru, someone who picked newspaper articles that would influence the world, and that's great, but really the power of the people is what we're all about, so trying to take a crowdsourced approach. So how we've become so successful has really been by empowering a community of now 100,000 people from around the world who find unique ideas in pop culture, marketing, design, and they come to Trend Hunter to share those ideas, but with our sort of presence, we're able to really give each of these trends and articles more exposure than they might get elsewhere. And so that's sort of been an interesting fuel, which is that people now come to us to find those cutting edge ideas, and those cutting edge innovators come to us to try and share what they discover.
Met Jeremy in the Queen's MBA program back in 2004. He's an entrepreneur at heart. He has a very entrepreneurial mindset, and I think he's been able to invest in the culture of this business, which pretty much permeates in this office, and being able to inspire others to new heights.
At Trend Hunter, culture is one of our most important aspects that we're focused on, and we have an academy program where up to 10 people at any given time are not totally volunteering to get some money, but essentially they're volunteering their time to kick their career off here. So we realized that when you have that kind of program, it's very important to make the experience something that's very rewarding. So we have weekly beer parties, monthly fun days that include everything from dining in the dark to jet boating, and just in general a culture where we're really trying to celebrate the people that are here and recognize the place that we play in their careers, kind of kick-starting their way into the world.
3 years ago, I was sort of in a rut. I was working at a law firm, not really knowing what I wanted to do, knowing that law was not something I ideally wanted to end up in. So Trend Hunter had their first ever internship round, and I thought, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm gonna apply. So I applied for the internship round. It went amazingly, was so inspired, got hired on, and then slowly built up my expertise here, and it's been amazing working with Jeremy and Marcus and everyone else on the team.
What do you look for when you're hiring interns or people to work with you?
We're looking for people who are enthusiastic. That's a huge thing for us. We're obviously an office full of really bubbly people. We're looking for somebody who is entrepreneurial, somebody who can think outside of the box and get creative. And finally, I guess we're looking for somebody who has an open mind. Trend Hunter covers an array of things. One day you could be writing about a really cool campaign that's coming out that's using, publicity stunts and flash mobs and all that. And then another day you could be writing about fashion that looks like, bacon strips. So you need to be able to kind of wrap your head around a whole bunch of different things.
If you're interested in writing or journalism or even just social media, you can actually sign up to the site and submit a trend, and our editors will coach you through. So it's pretty neat that we have 80,000 contributors all over the world doing that exact thing. And they may not be fluent in English, or they may be dyslexic, but our editors will help make their work the best it is, and then they'll get their trend out there and get those views. So it's great to start a portfolio just for free. What does it take to start a trend? It has to be simple, direct, and supercharged. And what we mean by that is you have to stress to people why it's unique. Why is this so cutting edge and cool? And it has to have that viral factor. Will it pass the I have to tell someone test? Or is it something that we've seen and heard of before? So it's all about that unique factor. We're very analytical at Trend Hunter, so tracking our growth is very important to us, and we know that we're going to have 1 billion views this summer, so that's huge for us and all of our 80,000 contributors that we have globally around the world. So it's a really big year for us, a really milestone year.
I remember being in one of my marketing courses where the professor, Jay Handelman, started talking about that quest for cool. And the idea is that anything that is popular right now is mainstream. And so it doesn't really matter if you're a company innovating to know what your competitors already do and what people already want. You're looking for that fringe, the next big thing. And that quest for the next big thing turns out to be a whole industry where marketers and professionals are looking for that big idea. And so really Trend Hunter has two sides. One, which is the side everybody sees, which is trendhunter.com. But on the other side, Trend Hunter Pro, we're trying to synthesize through our billion views of data to identify these emerging opportunities for brands. And that's part of the business model. What's sort of, I guess, remarkable for me about Trend Hunter is that it combines all the things that I really love to do. And so the differentiation between a hobby and a business for me doesn't exist. This is what I really enjoy. And I think that I love solving problems, which is what I do when I'm trying to code something new. I like designing things, which is sort of some of the front-end design and graphics. And then I love sort of working with a team or inspiring people, which happens both here at Trend Hunter and when I'm doing keynotes to inspire other people on how to be innovative.
You need a suit. But you don't need just any suit, you need a half suit. All business up top, all party down below.
An interesting place then that I have now decided to really try and push Trend Hunter this year is to sort of connect things a little bit more. So I'd already done a lot of these keynotes and I had the award-winning book, but then Trend Hunter was over here, and this year we're bringing a lot of that together with our Trend Hunter advisory program, which is to say that there are a lot of creative professionals that are using Trend Hunter for work. How do we empower them with a full suite of tools and sort of merge this all into one thing? So now we have a Trend Hunter advisory program where people get either trend experts here or myself to not only come in and out and do that one workshop, but actually sort of stay connected a little bit more with the brand. So that's what we're most excited about this year, is really trying to push that academic advisory side of Trend Hunter. I think that if I really boil it down is that I haven't created a long-term plan for Trend Hunter, because part of what makes this site fun and magical is that we react so quickly and we sort of move without a plan in some senses. We know our grand vision of where we want to go, but we like to know that we're flexible enough to change on a weekly or monthly basis when something inspires us.
It's just a lot of fun. You come in each day, do what you want to do, and create a lot of value. It's pretty cool waking up in the morning knowing you can pretty much inspire the creation of thousands of new products or entrepreneurs.
Right now, there are so many brands and marketers that are interested in social media and online publication in that digital world, but it's not taught anywhere. There's very few experts. Canada, in some ways, is not on par with America when it comes to understanding this sort of thing. So that's kind of a neat role that we've started to play in Toronto and in Canada in general.
Thank you so much for watching. We're always on the lookout for people who are starting something big, so please write to us, send us an email, Facebook, or tweet us. Contact us on our show page at rogerstv.com. We'd also love it if you'd like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. And hey, we'll even follow you right back. So we really hope you enjoyed the program today, but now it's your turn. Time to get out there and start something big.